Adam, what can you take away from a game like Saturday?
I think you take away that there's no excuses from a game like Saturday. The first game against Colorado, we almost won. We didn't have the Akron game, so that probably would have made an impact. In game 2 versus Troy, we didn't have our starting quarterback. And I thought Andrew Bunch played fine, but you could argue Jeffy would have been second. Vedral, if he's available, would have been third. You could argue we had our fourth-string quarterback. Maybe that's the difference. In this last game, I think you take away that there's no excuses. I think you take away that we lost every statistical category that exists in a football game, and they have a stat for everything. And we lost in every facet of the game. Michigan was better from start to finish. Maybe if that pass doesn't get batted in the air on the first drive and picked off and caught for a touchdown, maybe you at least feel better at the beginning of the game. I still don't think it's going to sway at 46 points. I think what you should take away is that the excitement over Scott Frost was so great, and partially rightfully so, but I think it caused people to forget exactly where we're at. All right, we have a hole that we're in. We have a hole that we need to climb out of. It's going to take some time. All right, and out of 7 billion people walking the face of God's green earth, I would pick Scott Frost to do it. We got the right man in charge. I hope nobody's questioning that at this point, although I know some people are jumping as far as they can off the bandwagon, just don't try to get back on in a couple of years. But people are reminded that there's no excuses, and people are reminded that there's a lot of work ahead of us.
Were there any bright spots, in your opinion, from Saturday?
Mo Berry had 11 tackles, which was almost double the second-place tackler on the defense. As far as the offense, it's really hard. I mean, we averaged 0.9 yards per carry. Our passing game, wasn't great. Andrew Bunch probably came in and played a little bit better than Martinez did when Andrew was in there. We made a field goal, and I don't say that jokingly, like Pickering struggled. He missed his first 2 field goals. He's a young guy. He's a freshman. And a lot of times, and he was the number 2 pick in the country. He's got the ability. But a lot of times freshmen struggle early, and then once they make it to you, they get in the groove. So when I say that, maybe after missing 2 kicks, and they were very makeable, he's made 3 in a row, I believe. Maybe he's found his groove a little bit. So we'll take any positives that we can get at the moment.
Absolutely. Just to kind of piggyback off of, the negativity, surrounding it, but just a 3-point underdog to Purdue at home. I don't know if the line's changed recently, but does that kind of get under your skin a little bit?
It's funny, my show tomorrow, I bring that up, and I ask, have we actually hit rock bottom? Is this actually rock bottom? Because people want it to be rock bottom, because you can't hardly fathom it getting much worse. So is this rock bottom? Nobody can answer that right now. We know we want it the answer to be, because once you hit rock bottom, the only place to go is up. It can't get worse. Well, it can get worse, because Purdue comes in here as a 3-point favorite. I remember a season ago when we went to Purdue, and we had to rally late to win, and it was a close road win on the road. And some people were so frustrated that we barely beat Purdue. Have we fallen that far? And some people were excited that we won the game, and other people got mad at them. Why are you so excited for beating Purdue? Now this year, you got a Purdue team that lost their first 3 games by a combined 8 points, yet it was against a struggling Northwestern team, Eastern Michigan. And so then their 4th game, they come out and they thump Boston College, who had been thumping their first 3 opponents, which is why they were ranked in the top 25. So Purdue, I have no idea what to expect out of them. All right, Nebraska, no clue what to expect out of them right now. They're going to come out like they did against Colorado or like they did against Michigan. All right, so it's a wild card game. But to me, in theory, rock bottom would be 0-12. I don't quite see that happening. But to me, I remember the way people reacted at the Purdue game last year. And if Purdue came in as a 3-point favorite, beat us on our home field, to me, that would be rock bottom. But if we come out and we beat Purdue and we get a win under our belt, then maybe we know that the Michigan game was rock bottom. To me, it's about, is this rock bottom? When is rock bottom? Where is rock bottom? How do we know it's rock bottom? To me, this Saturday will tell us when and where rock bottom is or was.
Is this a must-win? I hate to use that term, but, is it?
I said that with Troy. I said Troy was a must-win. You feel like it is. Otherwise, you go into Madison, Wisconsin as probably a big-time underdog, and people would expect us to lose that. And in theory, you'd be 0-5. team that always plays us close. And we got Minnesota, who beat us by 35 last year. And it's just like, is it a must-win? I felt like Troy was a must-win. I do feel like this is a must-win, or the train can go completely off the rails, off the ditch, and pretty much off the face of the earth. You know, it's almost like those people would be right. The earth would be square, and the train has just gone off the edge of the square earth. So, is it a must-win? Probably not, but it sure feels like it is.
So when you look at the first three games there, you know, you're talking 14-0, 17-0, 21-0 out of the, I mean, obviously Michigan went off the rails pretty quick after that, but it's for them to get a touchdown early in this game, do you think that's a key to kind of their early success and kind of a key to get that win?
I think it would be huge to get a lead. We haven't had a lead since third quarter of the Colorado game, I believe. So we have been playing from behind. We've had large deficits. We've had quick and early penalties and turnovers early. I think getting the lead versus Purdue could be absolutely huge. It could get the crowd really into the game. Versus, I mean, I hope it wouldn't happen, but I could almost see the crowd turning. You know, they booed in Memorial Stadium before. So I hope that doesn't happen. But if we could get an early lead, it'd be huge to get the crowd into the game. All right, get the players a little bit of confidence and a little bit of juice flowing. I think that could be a big deal, honestly. As funny as it sounds, just to get up 7-0 would be, I think, huge at this point.
Other than that, what are some of the other keys that you see against the Boilermakers?
So actually, my three keys, I haven't done my prediction show yet, but my three keys would be we got to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. We've lost that in the past two games. Even against Troy, our offensive line didn't do well. And our defensive line, I don't know if it did bad, but they didn't do anywhere near as well as they did against Colorado. So we got to win the battle up front. Offense puts butts in the seats. Defense wins games. And I know right now, this is just what I say. I mean, trenches wins championships. I know right now talking about championships is weird, but that's how I always phrase it. If you really want to win the game, you got to win the battle of the trenches first and foremost. Second of all, the X factors. Turnovers, penalties, special teams. I mean, coming into this last game, we had a total of -2 yards in our punt return game. Right? We had 2 punt returns for 3 yards. So I guess the positive is we're now in the positive as far as our punt return. The problem is we're averaging a third of a yard in our punt return game going forward. Just as an example. Plus we give up the punt return for a touchdown. We're losing the battle of the field position. Turnovers and penalties, I think it goes without saying that we have to win that at some point, in some game, to have a chance to win. So the X factors. And number 3, it's funny you asked about getting the lead, because that was actually going to be my number 3. I think getting the lead, getting some momentum, getting some positivity going, I think could be a big deal.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to any of the press conferences or anything like that, but just there still seems to be kind of a quiet resolve almost. I don't want to say optimism because there really isn't any optimism, but do you see that out of them?
I do, and it's interesting. I kind of liken it to, this is going to be a weird analogy, but I liken it to kind of someone who makes friends easy or socially is comfortable or popular, if you will. All right, just because they're in a group or a setting that isn't becoming to them or they're not familiar with, or they're around people they don't know and they're not talking to anybody, it doesn't mean that they've all of a sudden lost confidence. It just means they're in an unfamiliar situation, but their resolve and their confidence isn't going to change. Just because things aren't going the way that you want them to, especially it's 3 games, you know, it's not like it's been 3 years. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't all of a sudden just throw everything away. You still believe in what you've done and what's worked. And I'm referring mostly to the coaches right now. And I know the players, I love what Tanner Farmer said a week ago. There's some players that are on that same page. They just haven't experienced what these coaches did a year ago at UCF. So you don't all of a sudden just throw it away just because you're in shark-infested waters and things are a little bit tough. You still are going to have that same confidence and that resolve. All right? And it's weird to liken it to a social situation and almost like the popular kid in high school. But that's kind of what I think of a little bit. Just you're going to have that same confidence about you. If it's a true confidence, if it's fake, it'll change at the drop of a dime. But if it's a true confidence, it sticks with you everywhere you go.
Alrighty, I like it. Popularity contest in high school. Cool. Anything you want to add, Adam?
What did you say?
Anything you want to add?
It's one of those things where I think people were so excited about Scott Frost. They were so excited about the hire. I've said this more than a few times. But if I could line up all 7 billion people on planet Earth, he's the one guy I'd point to and say, you're the guy for this job. I think people were so excited. I think that they forgot about the amount of work that's in front of us. And I know I said this earlier, but I think people have been reminded about that. And just because there's a bunch of work in front of you doesn't mean you all of a sudden lose faith and lose hope. Otherwise, you're softer than Charmin, as my D-line coach used to say when anyone got moved by a double team when I was with the Redskins. Soft as tapioca pudding and soft as Charmin is what he used to say. You know, you look the work in the face and in the eye, and you know that you're going to take it on. And as long as you got I think for the first time, I like Solich. I never thought he should have let go, but I think for the first time since 1997, there's no doubt we have the right guy in charge. Now it's just we got to face the work, and we got to face that uphill battle that's in front of us, and we got to face it together.
Alrighty, well said, Adam. Thank you for your time. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks for having me.